Well, hello again. This time we're coming from Adyar, the international headquarters for the Theosophical Society. As always, I have a number of things to catch you up on. An awful lot of things are going on right here at Adyar, particularly in the realm of building renovation and actually some new things that we're doing. One of the things I want to show you here at Adyar, we're just fully into the monsoon season. We got a little break today and yesterday, but we're supposed to be back into it with significant rains, which is actually good for our campus. One of the things about Adyar has been we've always been self-sufficient in terms of water. All of the water here comes from wells. So one of the things with it, though, is that the water is not potable. So we find ourselves needing different filtration plants. So we have 3 or 4 large ones, reverse osmosis. So we just opened a new one, and I'll get a chance to show you something about that. One of the things that's going on here also, our Besant Memorial Animal Dispensary, which has been in pralaya, let's say, for a while. It hasn't been functioning up to full speed. Over the last year, it has really picked up momentum, and we'll show you some things there. It's really something that is having an impact here in Chennai, and something we can be quite proud of in terms of the suffering to animals, particularly the stray dogs that are so prevalent here. Also want to walk you through our Blavatsky Bungalow, where we have started off our renovation process. As you all know, for the past couple of years, we have been talking about donations and generating the funds to start. Well, we finally did back in July. So we're well along the way. It's about an 8-month to a year project, but it's an extensive renovation. So you'll get a chance to see that. One of the things that has happened is that we have really had to go back to the initial sorts of technologies that were involved in building these buildings, which were brilliant. Hot climate, humid climate, a lot of water. The buildings were built so that they actually were breathing entities. They took the water, breathed it out, cooled the buildings. We lost track of that technology and started using concrete and the paints that seal the water in the walls, which has led to problems in many of our buildings. But you get a chance to see how it is we're reversing that. I also want to show you a little bit about our upcoming 2018 11th World Congress, which will be held in Singapore in August. Had a chance, the International Secretary and I, Maria Artema, to meet with the planning committee there in Singapore and go through the place and go through the plans for the event. One thing that I do need to say, please register early. There's a firm cap on the number of people that will be able to attend. 300 people, and we're going to have to take the first 300 that do register. So please register early. It's going to be a wonderful event, and you'll get a chance to see some of that in this video. So as always, I hope you enjoy. So on October 1st in the main hall, we celebrated Annie Besant's birthday. I was the principal speaker and was introduced by our newly elected International Treasurer, Nancy Seacrest. The event was followed by the garlanding of the statues of the founders and an interview with some local reporters. A lot of things going on here at the campus, one of which is the opening of a newly installed 500-liter per hour water purification system. It's a big thing because all of our water here at the campus is drawn from well water, so it needs to be purified. So there was the first opening of the tap, the water was poured, and as president I took the first sips, followed by our general manager and visiting architect with the renovation project, McGill Haas. One of the really big holidays here in the area is Diwali, the Festival of Light, Deepawali as it is called in southern India. So we went to the Social Welfare Center to visit with our kids there and their teachers. Teachers sang a song. Some gifts were given, as is always the case. The kids loved the whole thing, and of course there were some fireworks that took place immediately after. Also had a chance to take a look at some of the renovation work going on at the center. All of the roofs had been damaged. They were all repaired following Hurricane Varda. And the new playground equipment, reverse osmosis, system for water purification, With the exception of the roof repair, all of this work was made possible by the Besson Cleveland branch in the United States. The reverse osmosis is housed here, and a concrete pathway with retaining walls is being built to the new toilet group that's being built in the back. Concrete walls are necessary because during the monsoon season, which is now, those pathways flood. The toilet block will be there. And just Nancy Seacrest, our TOS secretary, with Dr. Revity talking about a project that they're involved in. A truly remarkable transformation has taken place at our Besant Memorial Animal Dispensary. Mr. Shravan Krishnan here has taken the lead and has really moved this thing forward with volunteers and with really high-level people who have become involved. Our dogs, many of them strays who are left on the street, receive food here. We've had bedding donated to keep them off of the ground, and they've learned to love these new things. I wouldn't mind that myself. They're also doing specialized treatments for some of the dogs with paralysis, water therapy, where they will put the dogs in the water and allow them to exercise their limbs. Through the generosity of a specific donor, we've been able to completely outfit our Operation Theater. It's a wonderful thing, a lot more things going on. I hope many of you will get a chance to see it when you come. One of the beauties of being at Adyar is that every day new and fascinating things come across my desk. This is a letter in our archives, presumed to be from Mahatma M. It relates to the separation that took place with William Kwan Judge and the Theosophical Society here in Adyar. Fascinating. The first week in October found me traveling to Varanasi to conduct a 3-day study camp and a 1-day TOS event. General Secretary, newly elected, Mr. Pradeep Gohil, dynamic man, was there to preside. Also got a chance to see the new dormitory facilities that had been built for the Girls' College, which is right on the campus there at Varanasi. The Varanasi TS has a very rich history with Annie Besant's work there in education and in many other directions. Camp was quite well attended. Around 100 people came, had a chance to speak to them daily, and then also there were some of the performances later, some of the kids from the college itself, and then another lovely group of children who are hearing impaired came to present a program for us. Here they are. After some gift giving to the kids, then it was time for the TOS national program, introduced by the Secretary for India, Mr. Siva Prasad, followed by the chair, Mr. Bhattacharya. Before returning to Adyar, I had a chance to see the Thought Forms paintings as they are displayed. These are actually exact reproductions of them, photographically correct. And then it was on to Adyar. Those of you who have been following things at Adyar are aware that our Adyar Renovation project has begun. For the last couple of years we have been raising funds for it, and now we've started with the Blavatsky Bungalow, which was donated to the TS on behalf of Blavatsky in 1908. Has a lot of history. We're still looking into some of the background of the building. The crew involved includes Mr. Nilesh Thacker on the left, who is the principal contractor involved. Very, very specialized forms of contracting. Our vice president and the gentleman, Mr. Rajesh, have been very, very helpful. In the course of the work, we found problems with the foundation, which have required completely drilling into it to support the foundation below. Turns out it's a very shallow foundation for such a large building. The work involves replacing many, many beams, which as you can see are in a dilapidated condition, and you find them throughout the building. These are some of the larger ones that support the superstructure. But the people who are doing the work, the carpenters, tend to come from Kerala, which is an area in India which is famous for its carpentry work. So here's some of them at work putting together these various things that they're having to do. The wood is a specialized wood. In the old days it used to be teak wood. Nowadays it's a wood, it can be teak, but it tends to be a wood called mati. Very, very hard wood. But look at the cuts that they have to do in order to fit these joints together. It's really quite remarkable. Not a nail, not a screw. It all depends on the craft and the exactness of the cuts that they do. Take a look at this. To me, that is amazing. The work that's being done at Blavatsky Bungalow is really full restoration work, and many of the crafts that are involved are ancient crafts, much of which has been lost. Actually, this is one method they use to protect the floors. Brilliant. Tile floors, they put a layer of fabric or plastic, cover it with plaster of Paris. Everything will come out scot-free, unmarked. Bamboo poles for the scaffolding. The balustrades made out of ceramic. They have to be restored with a lime putty. Many of the problems we're facing with the restoration is because we lost track of the technology. All of these brick walls were formerly covered in lime plaster, which breathed the moisture. Over the years, repairs were done in concrete, which does not breathe, leading to the problems we have experienced today. This is the hall as it exists now. This is what it will look like when we're finished, 6 to 8 months from now. Then it was on to Singapore to meet with the TS Singapore group that is responsible for making the planning for our 2018 World Congress, which will meet in August in Singapore. It's a beautiful city, beautiful location, and all of the arrangements are in place. Met with the group over lunch and then went back to the lodge to talk about some of the details and some of the additional plans. Beautiful building where they have their meetings. The Singapore Lodge is really a success story. Sonny Chung on the left and his wife Lily have been wonderful leaders in terms of restoring the life of a lodge that was flagging at one point. Now it's more than 400 people, all of them members of this one Singapore Lodge, more than many of our sections. They're an old lodge whose charter was signed by Annie Besant and goes back actually prior to that to Olcott. While I was there, I had a chance to have a meeting and a talk with the group. As is always the case with them, 80 or 100 people turn out. So that was very, very good. A chance to meet, a chance to talk, and a chance to have some good discussion afterward. The World Congress itself, which will be occurring in August, I'm going to encourage everybody to book early. It's going to be at the Ramada in their facilities, and there's also an adjoining hotel, the Days Hotel, which share the campus, separated by a park. Had a chance to have a tour of the place by the people who work there at Ramada, show us the facilities, which are gorgeous and wonderful for our meetings. This will be the main hall where the meetings will be held. Breakout rooms are off to the side, and then the food and all of that will be had there. Wonderful view of the banyan trees that surround in the breakout rooms. One of the features of having the conference in Singapore is that although the facilities are beautiful, we will only have room for a maximum of 300 people. So I encourage you to register early, because I'm afraid for this particular one necessarily will be turning some people away. So for information, here it is. Please register early, and we look forward to seeing you with the good folks in Singapore.